Hi there. In this video I'd like to run you quickly through the information that you've got on the feedback sheet that you've received as part of your assignment. The aim of this is to give you the most feedback that we can, the most feedback possible, and to help you see how your mark and your grade fit in the context of the unit as a whole, because often you get your mark but you don't really know were you doing well compared to other students or not well. On the right hand side of the screen here you can see the whole two-page document with a red square around the part that we're looking at the moment, and then on the left hand 3/4 of the slide you can see a magnified version of that bit that there's a red square around. At the top you can see there's your name, your student number and your email. There's the title of the assessment, and there's the number that it's marked out of as well, so you know what the top mark is. There's a little box just there on the right where you can watch this video that you're watching now, so you've obviously found that already, which is great. The first section is called All Students Raw Marks, which is where you can see the number of times each individual mark was awarded in the unit. So the graph there in the first section lists every single mark that was awarded. So if there were 100 different marks awarded, there'd be 100 different columns here. And there up the y-axis you can see the number of times that that particular mark was awarded. And then in the table there on the left you've got the same information, but this time split down into percentiles. So in the first column you've got the increments of 10%, the marks that were awarded, and then the right hand column there, the number of times a mark was awarded in that percentile in the unit. Just a different way of trying to see how the marks were spread out. And there just below that you've got a table running horizontally, the modal mark, the median mark and the mean mark. And for those of you who like that sort of thing, you've also got the standard deviation of the marks there. In the second main section, called All Students Grades, you've got very similar information, but this time split down into grade boundaries. So you've got F, which is below 50%, a pass grade 50 to 60, credit 60 to 70, distinction 70 to 79, and then high distinction 80 plus. And here again you can see that your own grade is shaded a little darker than the rest of the grades, so you can see where you fell in the overall grade distribution for the unit. And then right at the bottom there you've got personal statistics, where you've got your own final mark. Here we got my mark was 6.5 out of 10. You've got your rank in the unit, so I was ranked 33 out of 69 students, and your percentile. Another way of thinking about this would be you are in the top how many percent of students in the unit. Well, for me, I'm in the top 47.83% of students in the unit. Now, if you handed your assessment in late and there were marks deducted for lateness, you'll find this in the little box on the right. Here is your raw mark before a deduction was made for lateness. So there's transparency about how many marks have been taken off, and you can see that very clearly in the box there. The second page is dealing with qualitative feedback that's useful for everybody in the unit. So you'll have your own personal comments on the assignment that you submitted, but you find here some generic comments. So the first box is most common comments made on student papers. In other words, what did I or the person who marked this continually say time and time again to students? And this gives you a sense of the common mistakes that were being made by students in the unit. And then there's another little section down here. Sometimes there'll be nothing here, but sometimes there'll be further points that the person who marked this wants to let you know. And so, for example, I've just written here, a few of you spelt names incorrectly or misquoted the titles of texts. This leaves a really bad impression. Don't miss the accent of André Breton. So general advice from the person who marked the sheet. We hope you find it useful.